Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Hopping right on into today's content. I am so excited to knock out this video because I get to talk about my favorite Fender Stratocaster that I've ever owned of all time. And as the title of this video suggests, yes, about $450 worth of upgrades have gone into this guitar, okay? So I want to sit down with you all, talk about what the latest rendition and iteration of this guitar, and yeah, just showcase what I've done to it and just, I don't know, just jam and hang out, you know? As always, dude, if you're brand new to my channel or you've yet to hit that subscribe button, please do so. I'd really appreciate it, man. I don't like begging too much, but gotta do it, right? I just really appreciate you guys for just supporting me and hanging out with me, okay? So, yeah, dude, let's make 70K happen, you know, relatively soon, all right? So, quick little side note, the tone demonstrations throughout the duration of this video will be this guitar going into a Boss SD1, going into a Solar chug pedal, going into a Torpedo Cab M Plus pedal. So let's start talking about the guitar, man. So what is it? What is the baseline of this guitar? What did it start its life out as? This is in fact a 2021 Fender Ultra Luxe Stratocaster. This guitar has a lot of fame and a lot of notoriety on my channel because when this thing was first introduced by Fender in early 2021, I was over the moon, yet super skeptical because Silver Burst is my favorite finish of all time. However, these things, Floyd's, they're really problematic and troublesome if you're unfamiliar with how to like maintain them and just be patient with them, you know what I mean? Obviously, I pulled the trigger and bought this thing at Sam Ash in Cherry Hill, New Jersey about maybe a year and a half ago now. And I've been constantly tinkering with it and messing with it. And I've got it now to a spot where I'm like incredibly satisfied and borderline in love with this guitar. So I bought it on the whim of solely for the finish and the way it looked. I call this guitar Batman because of like the black and yellow aesthetic, kind of looks like the Michael Keaton Batman type of vibes, you know what I mean? But I bought it, again, seriously just because I like the way it looked, not the way it necessarily sounded and or played. Because this guitar, when they came stock from Fender, they're kind of set up for like, you know, the typical Fender guitar player that is like, I don't know, like, you know, think of like what a Strat sounds like. Yeah, that's the type of tones they were like kind of aiming for, you know what I mean? And that is very obvious and prevalent in the promo videos that Fender put out on the Fender YouTube channel. Yeah, like they weren't necessarily catering towards the style of music that I like to play, so I knew when I bought this thing I had some work to do. So how did we get to $450? Well, we have the EMG X Series pickups that cost, give or take, 260 bucks. The afterburner for EMG costs about 80 bucks. Brass block in the back, 30 bucks. 50 bucks for some locking tuners by Fender. A brand new pick guard, 15 bucks. And some brand new screws, some lock-in screws that are kind of more or less matching the color of the bridge, another 15 bucks. So the latest upgrades that I've done with this guitar to make this guitar feel better and just be easier to manipulate and operate are as follows. First up, we have some Fender locking tuners that I bought off Amazon, as well as a Floyd brass block in the back. Check that thing out, huh? Now here's the original tone block that was in the back of the Floyd, and as you can see, it's relatively dainty and small, and it's not exactly the heaviest thing in the world. Now, in comparison to the brand new brass block that we have in the back, massive difference, right? So, a lot of you guys, thank you guys so much for always tuning into my channel, first and foremost, but also, too, always giving me recommendations, because I've never claimed to be an expert on a lot of this stuff. I'm learning along the way and documenting my musical journey. and you guys are like more or less helping me at times. So I really sincerely appreciate you guys. But yeah, dude, like one of the upgrades that you guys always have recommended to me was put in a brand new brass block in the back, and it'll give you more sustain. Anyway, give you more sustain, more tone, for better, for worse. Just an overall upgrade that most people do. And I've seen brass blocks all throughout my guitar journey, whether it's with FU Tone, Phil Collin from Def Leppard, EVH stuff, John Petrucci guitar models, etc. Man, yeah, like brass blocks are kind of like known like for being good, right? So it's just my turn to obviously put one in my guitar. And locking tuners are more or less a must for me with all my guitars. Now with a Floyd Rose equipped guitar, you don't necessarily need locking tuners, but one, they're incredibly useful just for like timing with string changes. You don't have to like constantly wind them. But also too, there's an argument to be made that locking tuners may or may not help with tuning stability. I don't know, dude. I kind of think they do, man. I just think anytime you have the ability to lock something in place and just lock it down to prevent any sort of variables from happening, I think it's a win. So not only are you locking the strings at the tuning pegs, but you're also locking it at the nut. So I just think, like, you know, maybe overkill, but like I've had a ton of problems with tuning stabilities with Floyds in the past, and I think this setup right here is incredibly just beneficial for tuning stability. And then taking a look at the Floyd itself, I put in the silver lock-in screws in the back there. This came stock with the black ones. I don't know, I think the silver one looks a lot better. And I think eventually I'll upgrade these as well as the ones up at the nut. So overall, man, yeah, a lot of upgrades and a lot of time and effort has gone into this guitar. So this guitar is currently set up in drop B, and I've been going back and forth with different setups and stuff like that, and different just ways to run this guitar, different tunings and all that stuff. So I've been saying it a whole bunch on my channel, and for those of you who have been following along and just been tuning in regularly, you guys know what I'm about to say, but I've been falling in love with Super Strats, and this guitar is the catalyst for that said falling in love phenomenon, I guess. I always loved the look and feel of these guitars, but I could never keep them in tune. Once I spent a lot of time setting them up, lubricating the saddles, upgrading all the stuff, man, just really paying a lot of attention to intonation and the bridge and, you know, all the stuff, man. All the things that you got to pay attention to with floating tremolos. Once you put the TLC into these things, they're pretty rad. So yeah, man, 450 bucks have gone into this guitar, and I don't think we're done just yet. There's a couple other things I would like to do in terms of like a cosmetic upgrade more than anything, and that is, like I said, kind of upgrade the different nut options that FU Tone has to offer. Maybe put some colors down here as well in the bridge. I don't know, man. I think those look kind of cool. Like maybe some purple, you know, some purple screws or something like that. Some purple blocks, or I don't know, man. Something a little wild. Maybe I'll put it into this guitar. But for right now, everybody, yeah, man, lots of upgrades have gone into this Strat, and it's become my favorite guitar, man. I love it so much, dude. And you can tell I've been playing it quite a bit based on all the, you know, gunk and just scratch marks on the scratch plate and all that stuff, man. Yeah, this thing's pretty rad, and I love playing it, obviously. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning into this latest update video on my Stratocaster. I love it, man. I love it so much. Fender Ultra Lux Stratocaster. Took forever to get, you know, I don't want to say the hang of it, but to a spot that I feel comfortable for the genre of music that I like to play. And now that it's rock solid and good to go, man, it just sounds super sick, dude. So I just sincerely appreciate you guys just taking the time to just listen to me jam, okay? So with that being said, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you're brand new to my channel and you want to consider subscribing, I'd really appreciate it. I'm out of here. Y'all stay safe, stay healthy, and stay metal. I'll see you guys next time. Later.